evaluate the integral. Here we have the integral of the sine inverse x times dx. And in this problem, we're going to go ahead and use the integration by parts. So for step 1, we're going to let u equal the sine inverse x, and dv is going to equal dx. So for step 2, we're going to take the derivative of both sides with respect to x. So the derivative of the sine inverse x that we know is 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared dx. And then v over here is now going to equal x because of the antiderivative. Now in step number 3, let's go ahead and write out the original integral, which is the sine inverse of x dx. And using the integration by parts formula, u times v minus the integral v du. So u is the sine inverse of x, multiplying it by v, which is x, minus v, which is x, times du, which is 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared dx. Okay, so now what we want to do is let's just go ahead and simplify this just a little further. So we have x times the sine inverse of x minus x over the square root of 1 minus x squared dx. Okay, so now what we're going to have to do is look at this integral and determine whether we need to do this by integration by parts or just u substitution. Well, if you take a look here, we just need u substitution, because if we substitute this here, we'll end up with the derivative of x squared, which is x dx. So let's go ahead and do that. So over here, again, we rewrite this as 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared times x dx. So we would let u equal 1 minus x squared, du is equal to negative 2x dx, and then divide both sides by negative 2, so we'd have negative 1/2 du is equal to x dx. So over here, the substitution is going to be 1 over the square root of u times x dx, which is negative 1 over 2 du. So factor out the negative 1/2. And then this becomes 1 over the square root of u, which is 1 over u to the 1/2, which is the same thing as u to the negative 1/2 du. And let's take the antiderivative. So this is minus 1/2 times u to the negative 1/2 plus 1, which is 2 over 2, over negative 1/2 plus 2 over 2 plus c. So we have negative 1/2 times u to the positive 1/2 over 1/2 plus c, which is negative 1/2 times the reciprocal of 1 over 2, which is 2 over 1 times u to the 1/2 plus c. So we have a negative times a positive, and this 2 divided by 2 is 1, so this is going to be negative. We know that we substituted u to be 1 minus x squared. So that's negative 1 minus x squared to the power of 1/2 plus c. So we're going to rewrite that in radical form. So this is going to be minus the square root of 1 minus x squared plus c, and that's what we're going to substitute for this. So we have x times the sine inverse of x minus negative square root of 1 minus x squared plus c. And so if we distribute that sine, we get x times the sine inverse of x plus the square root of 1 minus x squared plus c, and therefore there is our result.